You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. And honestly, if someone else told me this story, I'd probably laugh and think they made it up for clicks. Because this sounds like the kind of scandal you'd see in one of those wild Reddit threads or a YouTube storytime video that makes you pause and go, wait, did that actually happen? But let me assure you, it did. It happened to me. Every single chaotic, gut-wrenching, unbelievable detail. So let's rewind a bit. For 2 years, I was dating Matt. And on the surface, Matt was perfect. He had that kind of charisma that made people instantly comfortable. He knew how to tell jokes at the right moment, how to smile in a way that made strangers trust him, and how to play the role of the good guy so convincingly that sometimes even I forgot he was acting. My friends loved him. My coworkers said, "Wow, you're so lucky to have a guy like that." And my mom? Oh, my mom practically worshipped him. Every time he came around, she'd light up like she was watching her favorite actor on screen. "Oh, he's so polite. He's such a gentleman. You've really found someone special," and I believed her. I believed everyone. Because why wouldn't I? For 2 years, Matt never slipped. He held doors open, remembered anniversaries, even brought flowers for my mom on her birthday. Who does that? Apparently, a guy who was setting me up for the biggest betrayal of my life. At first, the warning signs were small. Little things I could easily explain away. Like when Matt would come over to hang out with me, but somehow I'd find him in the kitchen with my mom. They'd be laughing together, whispering about something. And the moment I walked in, silence. Dead silence. I told myself, don't be paranoid. They're just friendly. Isn't it good that they get along? That's what everyone wants, right? But then it happened again, and again, and again. Once I walked into the living room to find them sitting way too close on the couch, whispering like teenagers sharing secrets. When they noticed me, my mom jumped up and said, "Oh, we were just talking about that show we both like." Another time, Matt hugged her goodbye. Not a quick, polite hug, a long hug. The kind of hug where you're standing there wondering, okay, is this going to end, or are we all just pretending this is normal? My gut was screaming at me, but I shoved the feeling down. Because honestly, who wants to imagine that their mom could betray them like that? That's not even in the realm of possibility, right? Moms don't do that. Not real moms. Then came the night that blew my entire world apart. It was a Friday. I was working late and Matt offered to wait at my house. My mom was home, so I thought, cool. They'll keep each other company totally normal. When I got home, everything felt wrong. The living room lights were on. The TV was playing some random sitcom rerun, but nobody was there. The silence in the house felt heavy, like it was pressing down on me. I called out, "Hello? Matt? Mom?" No answer. That's when I heard it. Laughter, coming from upstairs. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. I froze halfway up the stairs, straining to listen. And then I heard it. 2 voices. His laugh. Her laugh. Twisting together like some cruel joke the universe had written just for me. I crept up the stairs, every step louder in my head than a drum beat. My heart was hammering so hard it drowned out everything else. And then I realized where the sound was coming from. Her bedroom. For a second, I told myself, no. No way. You're imagining this. There's no universe where that's happening. But I had to know. I reached for the doorknob. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely grip it. I pushed the door open, and my entire world shattered. There they were, together. Not just together like sitting and talking, number, together. I swear my brain short-circuited. I just stood there, frozen, staring. And finally, all I could manage to say was, "Are you serious right now?" They both jumped like kids caught stealing cookies. My mom's face went pale. Matt started babbling. "It's not what it looks like." Which was hilarious because it was exactly what it looked like. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at them, shook my head, and walked out. And in that moment, something inside me broke. But also, something new was born. Because I knew this wasn't just betrayal. This was war. I didn't sleep that night. Not a second. I sat in my car in a random grocery store parking lot, staring at the steering wheel, replaying what I had just seen. My mind felt like it was on fire. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together. And every time I thought about it, my chest tightened like someone was squeezing the air out of me. By morning, my phone looked like it was about to explode. Missed calls, dozens of texts. From Matt. "Please, let's talk. It wasn't what you think. You don't understand." From my mom. "Can we talk about this? It just happened. Don't shut me out." I wanted to throw my phone out the window. Like, excuse me? What part of caught red-handed is up for debate here? Eventually, my mom showed up at my apartment. I didn't let her in, but she stood at the door crying, mascara running, telling me, "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just happened." And I laughed. I actually laughed in her face. You don't just trip and fall into my boyfriend, Mom. That's not how accidents work. She cried harder. I shut the door. Matt, on the other hand, went with the novel-length apology strategy. He sent me entire essays, paragraph after paragraph about how much he loved me, how it was just a mistake, how he didn't mean for it to go that far. I blocked him. Done. And my mom? I told her flat out, congratulations. You chose him. Don't bother choosing me anymore. I thought that was it, that the nightmare would end there. But oh no, this was just level 2 of the disaster, because families talk. And once one person knows, everyone knows. It started with my aunt. She called me, whispering into the phone like she was passing state secrets. Honey, is it true? Did your mom really... with Matt? Then my cousin called. Then my grandma. And every call was the same. Shock, disbelief, then anger. When I confirmed it, the explosion was nuclear. My mom had always been the sweet lady from church, the one who baked pies for neighbors, hosted barbecues, volunteered at school fundraisers. Everyone loved her. She had this picture-perfect reputation. And then the mask came off. Overnight, she went from sweet lady to the mom who slept with her daughter's boyfriend. People at church whispered. Her friends avoided her. Even at family gatherings, nobody wanted to sit next to her. At one point, my grandma, my sweet 80-year-old grandma, looked her dead in the eye and said, I don't know who you are anymore. And honestly, watching her crumble under the weight of her own choices was the first taste of justice I'd had since this whole thing started. As for Matt, oh, he wasn't spared either. He tried showing up to hang out with our old friend group, like nothing had happened. And you know what they did? They booed him. Out loud. Like he was the villain in a bad movie. He lasted maybe 10 minutes before storming out. The best part? They didn't even last. After all that betrayal, after all that drama, their little fling fizzled out in less than a month. He ghosted her. She pretended it didn't matter. And everything they blew up my life for? It turned to dust. But here's the thing. I wasn't satisfied. Yes, karma was working. Yes, their reputations were in shambles. But I couldn't shake the rage clawing at me. The humiliation. The betrayal. The fact that they had looked me in the eyes, smiled at me, and lied to me for months. Number. They weren't going to just walk away from this. That's when the revenge started brewing. I didn't want just petty revenge. I wanted cinematic revenge. The kind you'd watch in a TikTok clip and go, oh, she snapped. And I was just getting started. I wish I could say I just let it go. That I was the bigger person. But I wasn't. Not even close. Because the more I thought about it, the more it gnawed at me. I kept replaying that night. The door, their faces, the betrayal. And I realized something important. They weren't going to feel any consequences unless I made them. And if they were going to play with my life, I was going to play back. Matt had left so much of his stuff at my apartment. His console, a stack of limited edition sneakers, half his wardrobe, even a watch his dad had given him. A normal person would have boxed it up and returned it. Not me. I boxed it all. Took pictures of the stacks of shoes, the console, the expensive watch. I even wrote little notes like, enjoy this elsewhere, just for the satisfaction of knowing he'd see them gone. Then I donated everything. The sneakers, the electronics, his fancy jackets, all gone. The watch? Sold it at a pawn shop and used the cash to buy myself a massage. Best spa day of my life, by the way. Then came the text. Since you like giving away things that aren't yours, I thought I'd return the favor. The moment I hit send, I felt this electric thrill. Within minutes, his phone was blowing up with missed calls and frantic texts. You're insane. That stuff cost a fortune. You had no right. I blocked him and laughed. Next, it was my mom's turn. I didn't need to do much here. Karma had already started stacking the deck. Word had gotten out. Everyone knew what she had done. Friends avoided her. Family couldn't look her in the eye. Even at church, the whispers were deafening. One lady said, straight up, you should be ashamed of yourself. And the kicker? My mom had been involved with someone else before Matt, a married coworker. When his wife found out, who do you think she called? Me. I gave her every detail, every laugh, every whispered conversation I'd ignored. The truth hit harder than anything I could have said. Suddenly, my mom was branded not just a cheater, but a full-blown homewrecker. Watching her crumble felt cinematic. Like every betrayal they'd forced on me was being reflected back at them tenfold. Meanwhile, Matt tried to claw his way back in. He sent me a new number with messages like, I just want to talk. Please, let me explain I agreed, but not for him. I wanted the public finale. We met at a coffee shop. He looked like a ghost of the guy I'd once loved. Hair messy, eyes sunken, shoulders hunched like the world had already broken him. He launched into his apology speech, begging me to forgive him, to start over. I sipped my latte, nodding, letting him spill every word. And when he was done, I smiled. I donated all your stuff, sold your watch, and spent the money on the best spa day of my life. Just thought you should know his face turned crimson. He sputtered, raised his voice. People in the cafe stared. I stood up, leaned over, and whispered, "This is the last time you'll ever see me." Goodbye. Matt and I walked out, leaving him humiliated and defeated. That was my final revenge. Clean, public, and irreversible. By this point, I had done everything I could to reclaim my life. But the story wasn't over yet, because there was still one final act. My ultimate glow-up. By the time I thought the chaos with Matt and my mom was over, I realized something crucial. I wasn't just going to survive this. I was going to thrive, and I was going to do it in a way that no one could ignore. I moved out of my old apartment, the one full of memories of betrayal, into a place that was entirely mine. Sunlight flooded the living room. The walls were a soft cream, and the balcony looked out over the city like a small stage where I could watch the world go by without anyone interfering in my life. I painted the walls myself, bought furniture that made me happy, and arranged everything exactly how I wanted. It wasn't just moving out. It was reclaiming my life, piece by piece. Work became my refuge. I threw myself into projects I had only dreamed of, meetings I had been nervous to attend, and deadlines I once dreaded. But now, everything I did was for me. Promotions came. Recognition followed. People started noticing me not as someone's girlfriend or that girl whose mom had a scandal, but as me, as someone competent, confident, and unstoppable. I started traveling. Small trips at first, weekend escapes to the mountains, to the coast, to places I had always wanted to see. And then bigger adventures. International flights, hotels and cities I'd only seen in movies, streets filled with new smells, new languages, and new faces. Every ticket I booked, every reservation I made was a quiet message to the universe. I am done being defined by betrayal. I am defining myself. Friends who had drifted away came back, drawn by the new energy I exuded. But the real magic was meeting new people, the kind of friends who didn't care about my ex, about my mom, about the drama I had lived through. They wanted me, not my past. People who laughed at my jokes, who celebrated my successes, who never judged me for the mess I had survived. And then there was my little companion. I adopted a cat, a feisty little furball who somehow knew when I needed comfort and when I needed space. I named her Karma, a small but satisfying reminder of the cosmic balance I had achieved. She would curl up on my laptop while I wrote, sit by my side while I drank coffee, and sometimes just stare at me like she understood everything I had been through. Meanwhile, Matt's life had completely derailed. I heard bits and pieces through mutual friends and social media. He was bitter, aimless, and stuck in a rut. No one wanted to deal with him. Every attempt to win someone over ended in rejection. People whispered behind his back, the same way they had whispered about my mom. He had become a cautionary tale, the guy who cheated and lost everything. My mom's social life was similarly in ruins. She avoided family gatherings like the plague. She couldn't look anyone in the eye. Invitations stopped coming. People she had considered friends now treated her with polite distance or outright coldness. And the worst part? She had no one to blame but herself. I, on the other hand, was thriving. But the real transformation wasn't external. It was internal. I wasn't obsessed with revenge anymore. I didn't wake up thinking about Matt or my mom. I woke up thinking about me, my goals, my happiness. I started new hobbies, cooking classes, painting, yoga, photography. Things I'd always wanted to try but never had the courage to pursue. I even started journaling every day, detailing my journey, my thoughts, and my plans for the future. Each word I wrote felt like a brick in the foundation of my new life. A life that was entirely mine, untouched by their betrayal. Romance? Slowly, I allowed myself to consider it, but only with people who respected me, who treated me with honesty, who valued my independence. I wasn't desperate. I wasn't looking to fill a void. I was just opening a door to new possibilities while keeping the past where it belonged. Behind me. And every now and then, when I heard about Matt or my mom, about their failed relationships, about their awkward encounters in public, about the rumors that continued to follow them, I didn't feel anger. I felt satisfaction. Not cruelty, not gloating. Just a calm, quiet joy in knowing that I had turned the worst betrayal of my life into the most powerful transformation. The best revenge wasn't in the boxes of Matt's stuff, or the humiliation at family events, or the coffee shop confrontation. The best revenge was this, building a life so incredible that neither of them could stand to look at it. And here's the ironic twist. In all the chaos, heartbreak, and humiliation, I discovered my own power. I discovered resilience I didn't know I had. I discovered the ability to take control of my story. I discovered that the betrayal that had once threatened to destroy me could actually propel me into a life more beautiful than I had ever imagined. So yes, my boyfriend cheated on me. With my mom. It was devastating. It was heartbreaking. It felt like my entire world had collapsed. But when the dust settled, I realized something crucial. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. And when it does, you get to sweep the floor clean, reclaim your space, and start fresh. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't just survive. I leveled up. I flourished. I laughed again. I traveled. I learned. I loved. I lived. And every time I caught a glimpse of Matt or my mom, the bitter, humiliated shadows of their former selves, I didn't feel the need to speak. I didn't even need to gloat. I just smiled quietly, knowing I had taken the worst experience of my life and turned it into my ultimate victory. This wasn't just revenge. This was rebirth. Every morning now feels like a gift. Every day is a choice to continue growing, thriving, and enjoying the life that I fought so hard to reclaim. And trust me, it's a life they can't touch, can't ruin, and can't ever take away. The past may have tried to break me, but the present made me unstoppable. And the best part? My story isn't over. Every new day is a chance to shine even brighter, to create new adventures, and to prove that no betrayal, no matter how cruel, can ever define who you are. I'm no longer the girl who got hurt. I am the woman who rose from the ashes, stronger, smarter, unstoppable. And that, my friends, is the ultimate revenge.